Peter Griffin is the main character of the American animated sitcom Family Guy. He is voiced by the series creator Seth MacFarlane and first appeared on television along with the rest of the Griffin family in the 15-minute pilot pitch of Family Guy on December 20th, 1998. Peter was created and designed by MacFarlane himself. MacFarlane was asked to pitch a pilot to the Fox Broadcasting Company based on Larry and Steve, a short made by MacFarlane which featured a middle-aged character named Larry and an intellectual dog, Steve. After the pilot was given the green light, the Griffin family appeared in the episode Death Has a Shadow. Peter is married to Lois Griffin and is the father of Meg, Chris, and Stewie. He also has a dog named Brian, with whom he is best friends. He has worked at a toy factory and at Quahog's brewery. Despite the suburban blue-collar routine of his life, he has had a number of remarkable experiences. Peter's voice was inspired by the security guards that MacFarlane heard at his school. His appearance was a redesign of the protagonist from MacFarlane's previous animated short films, The Life of Larry and Larry and Steve. He has appeared in several pieces of Family Guy merchandise, including toys, t-shirts, and video games, and has made crossover appearances in other shows, including The Simpsons, South Park, Drawn Together, American Dad, and Family Guy's spin-off series, The Cleveland Show. Peter Griffin is a middle-class Irish-American who is bespectacled, obese blue-collar worker with a prominent Rhode Island and Eastern Massachusetts accent. Peter and his wife Lois have 3 children, Meg, Chris, and Stewie. He is the illegitimate son of Thelma Griffin and Mickey McFinnigan, and was raised by Thelma and his stepfather, Francis Griffin. Peter and his family live in the fictional town of Quahog, Rhode Island, which is modeled after Providence, Rhode Island. Peter primarily worked as a safety inspector at the Happy-Go-Lucky toy factory until his boss, Jonathan Weed, choked to death on a dinner roll while dining with Peter and Lois. He then became a fisherman on his own boat, known as the SS More Powerful Than Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and the Incredible Hulk put together, with the help of 2 Portuguese immigrants, Santos and Pascual, until his boat was destroyed. He now works in the shipping department of the Pawtucket Patriot Brewery. Peter is also shown in various jobs for single episodes and cutaway gags. In one episode, Peter played for the New England Patriots until his behavior resulted in him being kicked off of the team. In a running gag, storylines are randomly interrupted by extremely long, unexpected fights between Peter and Ernie the Giant Chicken, an anthropomorphic chicken who serves as an archenemy to Peter. These battles parody the action film genre with explosions, high-speed chases, and immense devastation to the town of Quahog. MacFarlane initially conceived Family Guy in 1995 while studying animation at the Rhode Island School of Design, RISD. During college, he created his thesis film entitled The Life of Larry, which was submitted by his professor at RISD to Hanna-Barbera. MacFarlane was hired by the company. In 1996, MacFarlane created a sequel to The Life of Larry entitled Larry and Steve, which featured a middle-aged character named Larry and an intellectual dog, Steve. The short was broadcast in 1997 as one of Cartoon Network's premiere tunes. Cartoon Network's World premiere tunes. Executives at Fox saw the Larry shorts and contracted MacFarlane to create a series entitled Family Guy based on the characters. Fox proposed to MacFarlane complete a 15-minute short and gave him a budget of $50,000. Several aspects of Family Guy were inspired by the Larry shorts. While working on the series, the characters of Larry and his dog Steve slowly evolved into Peter and Brian. MacFarlane stated the difference between The Life of Larry and Family Guy, that The Life of Larry was shown primarily in my dorm room, and Family Guy was shown after the Super Bowl. The voice of Peter is provided by MacFarlane, who also provides the voice for Brian, Stewie, and Quagmire. MacFarlane also provides the voices for various other recurring and one-time only characters, most prominently those of news anchor Tom Tucker, Carter Pewterschmidt, and Dr. Hartman. MacFarlane has been part of the main voice cast from the beginning of the series, including the pilot, and has voiced Peter from the start. MacFarlane chose to voice Peter and several other characters himself, believing it would be easier to portray the voices he already envisioned than for someone else to attempt it. MacFarlane's speaking voice is not very close to Peter's, He uses his normal voice as the voice of Brian. McFarlane drew inspiration for the voice of Peter from the security guards he overheard talking while he was attending the Rhode Island School of Design. According to him, I knew 1,000 Peter Griffins growing up in New England, guys who would not think before they spoke, like switching to Peter's voice. There was no self-editing mechanism, pointing to himself, everything in here pointing to his front. It's coming out here with no gateway. McFarlane also voices many of Peter's ancestors who share the same type of voice. He noted in an interview that he voices Peter and the rest of the characters partly because they initially had a small budget, but also that he prefers to have the freedom to do it himself. In another interview, he mentioned that Peter's voice is one of the most difficult to do. There have been several occasions where McFarlane does not voice Peter. In the episode No Meals on Wheels, Season 5, 2007, actor Patrick Stewart voiced Peter in a cutscene, but McFarlane voices Peter for the rest of the episode. In the episode Family Gay, Season 7, 2009, Seth Rogen provided a guest voice as Peter under the effects of the Seth Rogen gene. In Road to the Multiverse, Season 8, 2009, he was voiced by actor Jamison Yang, who was required for a scene where everything in the world was Japanese. Peter is a stereotypical blue-collar worker who frequently gets drunk with his neighbors and friends Cleveland Brown, Joe Swanson, and Glenn Quagmire at the Drunken Clam, Quahog's local tavern. In the Season 4 episode Pete Hearted, after taking an IQ test, Peter discovered his low intellect falls slightly below the level for mental retardation. Peter is also known for his brash impulsiveness, which has led to several awkward situations, such as attempting to molest Meg in order to adopt a redneck lifestyle. He is incredibly jealous of other attractions Lois has in her life, an attitude which has led to extreme situations, such as when he assaulted a whale that kissed Lois at SeaWorld. In the third episode, Stuck Together, Torn Apart, Peter and Lois split up because of Peter's jealousy, only to discover that Lois has the same character flaw, and the two decide to live with their mutually jealous nature. Peter has a very short attention span, which frequently leads to bizarre situations. As Chris points out in Long John Peter, after Peter's parrot dies, he will get over it pretty quickly and then move on to another wacky thing, to which Peter finds a pipe organ and forgets about his parrot. Peter then destroys the pipe organ within seconds and then finds a deed to a cattle ranch. Peter is also naive, with one example in Airport '07, where he thinks his truck will fly by filling it with airplane fuel. Peter has complex relationships with all three of his children. He normally makes fun of Meg and treats her badly, such as in the episode Foxy Lady, where he, Meg, and Chris try to create a cartoon and they exclude Meg and her ideas. Though in some episodes, Peter has a good relationship with Meg. In Hell Comes to Quahog, Season 5, 2006, Peter almost tells Meg he loves her, and in Road to Rupert, Season 5, 2007, he told Meg that he would treat her badly in front of the family, but that he would be her friend in secret. It was presumed, though, that in Peter's Sister, Season 14, 2015, that Peter would stop bullying Meg. Peter communicates and has a much better relationship with Stewie. Peter and Stewie had their adventures when he took him to Walt Disney World in the episode The Courtship of Stewie's Father, Season 4, 2005. With Chris, Peter communicates as well, but at times when in need of advice or an adventure, Peter tells Chris to do the opposite of what he should do, like in Long John Peter Season 6, 2008, where Chris is asking for advice on dating and Peter tells him to treat women horribly. Peter is best friends with his anthropomorphic dog, Brian. In earlier seasons, Brian often served as a voice of reason for Peter, helping him out with issues. Brian is extremely grateful for Peter for picking him up as a stray, shown during a flashback in the episode Brian, Portrait of a Dog. His gratitude was affirmed in New Kidney in Town, where Brian is prepared to give up both his kidneys and his life so that Peter could undergo a kidney transplant, although he did not have to do it thanks to another donor being found. At Brian's funeral in Life of Brian, Peter said that Brian was his best friend in the whole world and like a brother to him. Before Peter was born, his mother Thelma went to Mexico City to have an abortion. However, she gave birth during the procedure and smuggled him home to Providence, Rhode Island, where he spent his childhood. Peter was raised by Francis and Thelma Griffin in Roman Catholic faith. However, in Peter's Two Dads, he discovers that his biological father is an Irishman named Mickey McFinnigan. Peter visits Mickey, who initially rejects him. Mickey later accepts him as his son after beating him in Game of Drink, the game referring to matching shots until one passes out. Mickey is based on the friends of McFarlane's father. McFarlane said, "When I was growing up, my father had lots of friends. Big, vocal, opinionated New England Irish Catholics. They were all bursting at the seams with personality. Family Guy came out of a lot of those archetypes that I spent years observing." Editors of Variety put Family Guy in their contenders for the 2011 Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Comedy Series. They stated that, depending on your sense of humor, Peter is either a comedy genius or an obnoxious idiot. McFarlane has been nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award in the Outstanding Voiceover Performance category several times for voicing Peter and other characters. He won in 2016. He was also nominated in 2008 for an Annie Award for in the voice acting in an animated television production or short film for voicing Peter. Peter has ranked in several of IGN's top 10s. Generally, these lists are related to the show. Among these lists, Peter ranked the third spot on IGN's top 25 Family Guy characters, in which it was stated that many of the show's best gags come from Peter and his shenanigans, and that Peter practically invented the manatee joke. Entertainment Weekly placed Peter in its 18 Bad TV Dads list. The list also included characters like Homer Simpson and Al Bundy. Peter has been criticized for being too similar to Homer Simpson. Peter has appeared in some episodes of The Simpsons. In these episodes, which he has been featured, he has been depicted as Homer Simpson's clone or is accused of plagiarism. Ken Tucker of Entertainment Weekly wrote that Peter is Homer Simpson as conceived by a singularly sophomoric mind that lacks any reference point beyond other TV shows. Robin Peterson from The TV Critic criticized Griffin family for being too similar to the Simpson family. He said that Peter has Homer Simpson written all over him. This is eventually made fun of in the episode Ratings Guy, when after Peter ruins television and goes to the networks to reverse the changes, Homer Simpson shows up with the same plate, with Peter going, "Aha, looks like this is one we beat you to." And The Simpsons Guy, a crossover between Family Guy and The Simpsons, the Griffins end up in the town of Springfield after their car is stolen, where they meet and befriend the Simpsons. Peter has created controversy in various episodes of Family Guy. The episode The Cleveland Loretta Quagmire, Season 4, 2005, features a title sequence titled You Have AIDS, in which Peter dances and sings in a barbershop quartet fashion around the bed of a man with end-stage AIDS about his diagnosis, which drew protests from several AIDS service organizations. In the episode When You Wish Upon a Weinstein, Season 3, 2003, Peter sings a parody of When You Wish Upon a Star entitled I Need a Jew on October 3rd, 2007. Board & Co. music publishers filed a lawsuit accusing the show of infringing its copyright on the original song. Board & Co., the sole United States copyright owner of the song, alleged the parody pairs a thinly veiled copy of their music with anti-Semitic lyrics. The complaint was not upheld. Peter has made several television appearances outside of Family Guy, often in the form of direct parody. Peter has appeared in 2 episodes of The Simpsons, referencing how the two shows are frequently compared to each other. In the 14th season episode Treehouse of Horror 13, Peter is depicted as one of Homer Simpson's clones. And the 17th season episode The Italian Bob, a photo of Peter is in a book of criminals, which says he is wanted for plagiarismo. Peter also appeared in various episodes of the show's spin-off, The Cleveland Show. In addition, Peter has appeared at the end of the American Dad episode Hurricane with guns on both Stan Smith and former neighbor Cleveland Brown. During the standoff, Stan accidentally shoots his wife Francine, which Peter declares as classic American Dad. Peter is also featured on the Family Guy Live in Vegas CD and plays a significant part in Family Guy video game, the first Family Guy video game, which was released by 2K Games in 2006. Peter will be used in the game Family Guy Online as a character class for the game's character creator. McFarlane recorded exclusive material of Peter voice and other Family Guy characters for a 2007 pinball machine based on the show, created by Stern Pinball. In 2004, the first series of Family Guy toy figurines was released by Mezco Toys. Each member of the Griffin family had their own toy, with the exception of Stewie, of whom two different figures were made. Over the course of 2 years, 4 more series of toys have been released with various forms of Peter. Alongside the action figures, Peter has been included in various other Family Guy related merchandise. As of 2009, 6 books have been released about the Family Guy universe, all published by HarperCollins since 2005. This includes Family Guy, It Takes a Village Idiot, and I Married One, ISBN 978-0-7528-7593-4, which covers the entire events of the episode It Takes a Village Idiot and I Married One, and Family Guy and Philosophy, A Cure for the Petarded, ISBN at 978-1-4051-6316-3, a collection of 17 essays exploring the connections between the series and historical philosophers, which includes Peter as a character. Peter appears in comic book based on the Family Guy universe by Titan Comics. The first comic book was released July 27th, 2011. In 2008, the character appeared in advertisements for Subway, promoting the restaurant's massive feast sandwich. Chief Marketing Officer Tony Pace commented, "Peter's a good representation of the people who are interested in the feast, and Family Guy is a show that appeals to the target audience." The Boston Globe critic Brian Steinberg praised the restaurant's use of the character for the commercials.